on Weekend Edition. France is preparing for another night of violence as police reinforcements are sent to cities across the country.
The French government has said it is considering all options, including declaring a state of emergency after a third night of escalating violence and rioting in cities and towns across France.
President Macron has announced an emergency bill to speed up reconstruction in communities affected by a week of street unrest.
We start our programme in France, where officials say nearly 1,000 protesters were arrested in a fourth night of rioting.
Hello everyone. France, the third largest economy of Europe, is not in a good state nowadays. Situation is getting more and more critical every passing day. Government officials has engaged themselves in high-level presidential meetings. Their prisons are being filled with protesters. But why? Nahel Marzouk, a 17-year-old boy of Algerian descent, who spent most of the time with his mother, as his father left him at a very initial stage. He lived in a town named Nanterre, a working-class town which was 11 kilometers away from Paris. Nahel served for a community rugby team named Pirates of Nanterre, run by Ovel Citoyen, a program that aims to help young people struggling in their school to enter the job market. Jeff Welch, the president of the association, held Nahel in high regard. As per the newspaper National Post, Jeff Welch mentioned he was someone who had the will to fit in socially and professionally, not some kid who dealt in drugs or got fun out of juvenile crime. He had real potential. Later in his life, he enrolled at a college to study for an electrician certificate. Well, his story was not a fairy tale. It had some dark pages too. As a teenager, he appeared in juvenile court in September of 2022 after he allegedly failed to comply with a traffic stop. But he was never found guilty. The family lawyer of Nahel said that he has never been sentenced for a crime. On the morning of June 27, Nahel was found driving Mercedes AMG with his two friends, although he was underage and didn't have any license. Two Paris police prefecture motorcyclists noticed that the particular vehicle was driven in the bus lane at a very high speed at 7:55 am. The officers activated their warning signals to alert the car driver. The officers alerted the superiors via radio as the car was breaking traffic rules, endangering a pedestrian and a cyclist. Due to traffic congestion, the vehicle was eventually forced to stop. The police officers got off their motorcycles, pointed their guns at the driver, and ordered him to turn off the engine. The police officers started to threaten Nahel and giving him bird strokes. The third bird stroke made Nahel release the brake pedal, and as the car had automatic transmission, it made the car to move forward. And then one of the police officers fired a shot at Nahel's upper left part of the chest, below the shoulder. After the shooting, the vehicle continued its route as Nahel didn't die at the very moment. At 8:19 am, the car crashed into the street furniture. Nahel was declared dead at 9:15 am due to great blood loss. This incident had a great impact. The French President Emmanuel Macron declared the incident as inexcusable and unforgivable. Nahel family thrived for justice for their child, and they got back by the minority community of France. Nahel's mother passed a strong statement mentioning that the officer saw an Arab face, a little kid, and wanted to take his life. While this is not the only case when a person is maybe mistreated on the basis of his race in France. There's been a long trend of events like this. In 2016, a 22-year-old Algerian man named Adama Traoré died in police custody after being restrained by officers. His family and supporters have allegedly accused that he was the victim of racial profiling and excessive force. Michael Zeckler, a 41-year-old black music producer, was beaten by 3 police officers in his studio in Paris on November 21, 2022. The incident was captured on video and went viral. In December 2020, the police prosecutor office announced that it would be charging 3 of the police officers involved in beating of Michael Zeckler with racial abuse. This was the first time that French police had been charged with racial abuse in connection with an incident of police violence. On October 27, 2005, 2 teenagers, Ziad Bena and Bouna Traoré, were electrocuted by hiding from police in an electricity substation as they were suspected of being involved in a burglary. They both were of Mauritian and Tunisian descent. Their death sparked a wave of anger and frustration among young people in the suburb of Paris, who felt that they were being discriminated by the police and the society as a whole. On 20th, the riots broke out in Clichy-sous-Bois. The riots quickly spread to other cities, and over the next 3 weeks, there were widespread looting, arson and violence. The riots were particularly severe in suburb of Paris, where there is a large population of young people from immigrant backgrounds. The riot took place in 274 towns and cities across France and lasted for 3 weeks. They were the most serious civil disturbance in France since May 1968 protest. Around 10,000 vehicles were burned, 9,500 buildings were destroyed, and 921 police officers were injured, and around 10 were killed in the riots. This incident very much depicts the harsh reality of France's judiciary system. The French government failed this time too in preventing their country from burning. France saw unrest spread out to major cities. France Interior Minister Gernot Darmin said 45 police thousand would be deployed throughout the country on 30th June as the country braces for more violence on the streets. Protesters have also torched cars, barricaded streets and hurled stones at police officers. In Marseille, the second biggest city of France, the police fired tear gas grenades during clashes with youths in tourist hotspots like Wake Spot. Thousands stormed through streets, riding atop a floating lorry. The teenager's mother waved to crowd wearing a white t-shirt reading "Justice for Nehal" and the date of his death. Tuesday's killing was the third fatal shooting during traffic stop in France so far in 2023, down from a record of last 13 years. A spokesperson for the National Police said, "There were 3 such killings in 2021, 2 in 2022, according to Reuters tally, which shows that majority of victims since 2017 were black or Arab origin. More than 200 police officers were injured. 875 people were arrested overnight," authorities said, as rioters clashed with officers in towns and cities across France. The government would consider all options for restoring order, Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne told reporters. The Interior Ministry said 79 police posts were attacked overnight, as well as 119 police buildings, including 34 town halls and 28 schools. This picture depicts the area where the riots have spread the most. This all indicate to the point which the person in the video is telling in his speech. France needs to part its way from all of this. Well, that's all for today. I request everyone watching this video to pray for betterment and peace in France. We can't see one of the countries on our bucket list to burn away. Thank you for watching.